We're going to see just how much we can mod this while still keeping it looking as original as possible. Hi, welcome back to the shed. I've done Game Boy mod videos already, quite a few of them, so this is going to be a fairly quick one, but what I'm going to focus on this time is trying to retain as many of the original features, that original appeal of a Game Boy, while still doing a few different modifications to bring it into the modern world. So I've got a grey classic DMG Game Boy here, and what I'm planning to do is put one of the new V2 IPS screens inside it. I'm going to replace the lens with a glass lens, which is going to give a much clearer picture, and we're going to clean up the shell. In addition to that, I'm going to do an internal prosound mod, which will just give a clearer audio output from the headphone socket as well. So stick with us and we'll see how that turns out. So we've got an original Game Boy. And when you switch on, it does work, but the screen is degrading a little bit at the top. We've got the little ba-ding, so we've got some sound on there, so we know the speaker's fine. Speaker's going to be swapped over to this board. This is the PCB for attaching the V2 IPS screen. The screen is still in its packaging here, so we'll open that up later. There's been quite a lot of chat about the responsiveness of the buttons on these, and I saw a guide a little while ago about removing part of the inside of the shell to make the buttons on the D-pad a bit more responsive, so we're going to take a look at that while we're doing this mod too. The Game Boy itself is in good condition, but it is a little bit dirty, so I'm going to take it apart and give the shell a bit of a clean up. The original lens that's on there is a bit scratched up, so that's going to get removed, and I've got a glass replacement lens for going on the top there. This is for doing the prosound mod. I like to use 32 AWG. This is servo wire, so it's multi-stranded wire inside, but it's really flexible, soft, really easy to work with, and you tend to get good results from it too. Now this has been tested and working, is to just strip it down and separate all of the parts. I've already taken a razor blade to the adhesive that was left from underneath the screen lens, so the new glass lens should fit quite neatly in there. I'm not going to bother with any retro bright on this. I think it's nice and clean and grey enough. What I am going to do is give it a wipe down, get all the dirt off, use a magic eraser on a couple of tiny little scratches, then we'll look at doing the trimming. Okay, so that's cleaned up, that's all ready for reuse, nice and clean and grey, the colours all match nicely on front and back, there's nothing really needing de-yellowing on there, so that's all good. What I'll do next is prepare the back half of the Game Boy, because all I need to do with that is trim a little bit of the plastic off here so that the new panel can sit with the dial not getting stuck, and also investigate what we're going to do with this part here to alleviate the pressure. So I saw this post from Retro6 on Instagram that suggested you remove that area here, which is this one. So that's what we're going to do. So that's the back half all prepared. This whole section here leveled off with the Dremel, smoothed down a little bit, and then this little tab here for where the contrast dial goes, that's being trimmed off too. The prosound mod involves removing, I've got like 3 black and 1 white wires, so the first 2 black wires from the edge need removing, and then I'll replace with 2 wires coming up from where the volume dial is down to these 2 connections here. What I often find helps redirecting the wires when I'm putting it back together, when I've done the prosound so nothing gets pinched, is to cut a little bit of a groove out of this corner of the headphone jack here. All I need for that is a round needle file, tends to do the job quite well. So move that out of the way. You see now where I've got that little scoop, that's where the wires can be routed. These 3 chunks here, so your first and second one along, your left channel to that one, and your right channel to the one in the middle there. On here, from top to bottom, you've got right, left, left, right, ground. If you use the top, right, left, the volume dial won't affect it at all. We don't want that, we want the other 2. So you'll go 1, 2, 3 down, third one down is left, and then the next one is right. So the left, third one down there will connect to this one here, and the fourth one down, the right, will connect to this middle chunk here. So that should be fine. So that's my back half all sorted now. All I've done is reassembled, put the board back in, trimmed a little bit from the corner so I can route my wires, removed the 2 black wires from the side here. This whole section here has been removed and levelled off. That bit of plastic there has been trimmed off, and all my wiring has been taped in place so it doesn't move around when I'm trying to put things back together. Only other thing I need to do now is replace the little battery contact. That's ready for my batteries to connect up. Batteries in place. So back half all good, and now onto the front. That needs to go, and also we don't want this getting in the way, so we'll remove of those 3 sort of fins to support the power button. We'll remove this first one here. There was a screw post here and here, they've been removed with the Dremel, and also where the power switch goes on the back there were 3 fins, one of those has been removed. Now before I go opening up the brand new screen and starting with all of that, I've got my buttons to take care of, so I'm just going to clean all of those up. Same goes, look at the state of that there. Okay, this is filthy. So I'll get all the silicone parts cleaned up, I'll clean up the buttons, then we'll look at putting the screen in place, but it shouldn't take us too long. Right, so that's all that all cleaned up. Now we've got our screen to install. That is going to end up going in here, so that connects to there. There we are. That is going to be a couple of millimeters in, so I can just bring that over, pop it down to about there. I'll just hold that in place. Screen will go in place here. Oh, that's nice, the ribbons lined up neatly, that's the important bit there. So now I can actually stick my screen in position. Again, I'm just going to go with some double-sided tape here and here. Yeah, that looks centered. That should be fine. Take a look at what we've got here and our old front here. So literally going to take the speaker and replace it with that one there. That's now my speaker soldered in. The speaker itself is a little bit grubby though, so I'm going to give that a quick clean. Get that in. And then, alright, so we'll get that in place there. And put some screws in. So use tweezers, get the ribbon in place. Bring over the tab, pop that in place, and now my least favourite part of the job. Okay, so that's all screwed in place, and we'll put that back together. Right, so it's screwed all back together, everything fitted fine, and the volume dial and our new kind of contrast brightness dial fits fine. I've had issues with that in the past, but this time that's moving absolutely freely. Switching on. The image on the screen is nice and centered. If anything, it's possibly a tiny bit high up, but if I position that in place, and when you're thinking you're looking at it from this angle rather than directly at it, I think that'll be fine. Could have moved it a tiny bit further down, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. Right, so I'll get my glass lens. All looks okay. I'll do this with it switched on, because any little bits of fluff, like one I can just see there, I'll be able to remove. Because when you switch on, you get a little static charge, and all the little bits of fluff from around the edges get pulled in to the centre. so you can see them clearly, and then I'll be ready to put my new lens in place. And also, by having it switched on, I can see the image and it will help me to center it beneath the new lens. That's all ready to position. Last check for any fluff on the screen. Can't see any bits of dust there. Nothing on this lens. So I'll just position that as best I can. Okay there, I think. It's pretty well centered. I could open it up and move. Top and bottom centered fine, but slightly over to the right. Let's see how the controls are. So I'm going to have a quick go with Tetris to try out the controls. Also, nice finishing touch, I found a little cap to go on there. Right. Alright, so pretty good actually. No issues at all with the directional controls. Felt really comfortable, was really responsive, and we can watch our little rocket launch now. Woo! And we can watch the rocket launch in yellow, and purple, and white, multicoloured, blue, and green, Yeah, I think the green is probably best for this one. It's either the green or the yellow. Gonna go with green. There we go. Right, time to peel off the covering. And there we go. Authentic looking Game Boy. Congratulations. So I know it's much quicker through the modding process, but I do have other videos that detail this much more. One thing I will say though, first time I did this, it was without the 3D printed bracket. Second time was with the 3D printed bracket. Honestly, it located it so well, so easy. They are well worth using. This time I thought, no, it'll be fine. But I had to take it apart and reposition it a few times, and that was a little bit stressful, particularly with the double-sided tape on the screen. I thought at one point I might have destroyed the screen. Didn't want to do that. So yeah, if you can get hold of one with a 3D printed bracket, or you can print your own, I would definitely recommend doing that. Once it's together, it's fine. It's more to do with the process of actually assembling it. So that's it from me. I'm going to go and play some Tetris on this original style Game Boy, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.